Stay with me. I promise I'll get you out alive. Come on.
Oh, I've got chills, man. Like, this, I think, is like the defining shot of the Ninth Doctor. And I was so glad when I was able to chat with the episode's director, Joe Ahern, about this particular shot, that basically having a fourth wall break that's not a fourth wall break where they look down the barrel of a camera can be quite unnerving, because it can be quite unnatural to watch because it's not meant to happen. But in this particular moment, when he's holding his hand out to the audience effectively, where Linda with a Y is kind of the audience stand-in in this particular story for the Doctor's companion, and it's such a warm and welcoming image as well. Like, that's such a lovely smile, and that's such a great posture. Like, you'd trust this guy to the ends of the earth, and there's a reason why it's the cover of the Steelbook. It's brilliant. It's brilliant. But yeah, when I think of the Ninth Doctor, this is the first shot that comes to mind. This is it. And the fact that he's promised to get her out alive, you just trust this guy. He's the Doctor incarnate. Like, I love him. I love him so much. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Mr. TARDIS, and yes, I'm aware that I look very tired. I'm actually recording this reaction the day before it's meant to go live, because I've just been so busy. This one's going up to the wire, but we are now 20 years since the broadcast of Bad Wolf, the beginning of the end of Doctor Who Series 1, the penultimate episode of the Ninth Doctor, Christopher Eccleston, and this is an episode that I'm really interested to see if it still holds up, because it seems to go back and forth as to whether or not it's dated, whether or not it's relevant. I think the social commentary on the game shows, on the Charnel House, as the Ninth Doctor puts it in this episode, that's just becoming increasingly more relevant year after year after year. But in 2005, when some of the biggest shows on TV were Big Brother, The Weakest Link, and What Not to Wear, interestingly, those have had reboots and revivals, which are some of the biggest things still on TV at the moment. So it seems to cycle around in regards to relevancy, except for What Not to Wear. That got cancelled in 2007. But anyway, let's not delay. As usual, I'm going with the Blu-ray version of this episode, and it's time to dive in to Bad Wolf. But before we do, make sure you're subscribed, be sure to hit the like button and leave any comment down below to appease the almighty YouTube algorithm with your thoughts on this episode. Let's get started. And yes, of course, this episode is a sequel to what I consider to be the weakest episode of the series. That's a bit of a shame. Oh, it's the Doctor Who Confidential narrator. In hindsight, the Jagrafess does look a bit Dalek-y. That's such a great opening shot. Joe Ahern comes back as director and absolutely cooks here. Oh, look at the Dalek bumps on the wall. They're not even hiding it. And the fact that there's only 3 of them left, and then the Doctor does come in to presumably like the semi-finals of Big Brother, that is quite a twist. Oh god, Davina McCall. She's coming back in 20 years' time after this episode as well.
You have got to be kidding.
So yeah, Big Brother. I was never a fan of Big Brother. I actually thought it was a pretty cynical exercise when it comes to reality TV, but it had been going on since the year 2000, so it was like 5 or 6 seasons deep by the time we get to this episode. It was basically a TV institution. Patterson Joseph, his career genuinely went from strength to strength. He's basically a fan cast Doctor, like for many people. Such a great get, and you kind of wish that maybe they'd saved him for a later season, but you know, it's 2005, you don't want to lose a talent like that. That floor manager has no chill. It is like a dream.
The android.
The android pun of Anne Robinson as a droid like that is one of the funniest bits of wordplay in Doctor Who history. I am planting my flag there, and I'm not even joking. That's incredible. Big Brother and The Weakest Link, they both started in the year 2000. Big Brother ran basically every single year until 2018 and then it got cancelled. And Anne Robinson was the host of The Weakest Link until that got cancelled in 2012. Big Brother came back in 2023 and The Weakest Link came back in 2021. Now it's hosted by comedian Ramesh Ranganathan, who I would love to be in Doctor Who at some point. But I'm wondering if Ramesh was maybe hosting the show in 2005, if they would have had like Ramesh Bot or something. That would have been pretty cool to have had him involved if possible. Obviously alternative timelines and whatnot, to, you know, linear time, you know, Doctor Who can't quite be on that level all the time. But yeah, it's fascinating that What Not to Wear is like the only exception on this game show that we see in this game show episode where it hasn't had a revival, at least to my knowledge. Maybe it's had a revival in another country, but in the UK, no, it got cancelled in 2007. Which means it is entirely possible that 200,000 years in the future, yeah, maybe we have had another revival of The Weakest Link and Big Brother, which means that these elements of the episode, surprisingly, haven't dated. So here we have Trinny Woodall and Susanna Constantine as Trin E and Susanna. I can't tell you anything about the show. I never watched it. I have not watched a single episode. I don't know the format. It's just fun to have these lady robots try and flirt and annoy Captain Jack for an episode. Like, conceptually, it kind of works on its own anyway. I think these bots as well, weren't they part of the recent, like, Children in Need auction in 2024? I wonder where they've wound up. I know that the Trini bot is kind of worse for wear. It's kind of like browned and it's sort of worn away in storage over the past 20 years. But yeah, interesting. I wonder where they are now.
Design classic, but we're gonna have to find you some new colours.
Yeah, the way they glide around, it's pretty arresting to watch, but very Dalek-y.
Am I naked in front of millions of viewers?
Absolutely.
Your viewing figures just went up.
He means his cock. Joe Joyner as well as Linda is absolutely brilliant in this two-parter. And I've actually worked with Joe Joyner before and she's an absolute sweetheart. She's so lovely in person.
She got forcibly evicted because she damaged the camera. Am I popular?
A nice little throwaway line that ties into the Doctor's actions later.
You're sweet. Everybody thinks you're sweet.
That's a lovely little beat as well. The Doctor lying to her to make her feel better. And also the Doctor's not with companions here. He's not trying to impress anyone. I think he just has such a great read on her immediately and knows that the path of least resistance and also to make her feel better is just to appeal to her and appease her in that way. Lovely little character beat. I wonder where they got that furniture from. Is it bespoke? Is it designed from scratch? Oh, I love this shot as well because you can tell by how distorted it is. It's slightly distorted, but that they're shooting the mirror. They're not shooting the Doctor face on. Nice little Dutch angle.
I'm going to find my friends, and then I'm going to find you.
Great transition as well.
But I need to find the doctor.
Just shut up and play the game.
It's nice as well to split up the Doctor and the companions because Rose, obviously, she's playing to win. She thinks she's in a dream. Jack, I think, understands that something nefarious is going on, but plays along with it for as long as he can to suss it out, whereas the Doctor's, like, immediately hostile to the environment. It's like you've got these three narrative strands in this episode that don't feel repetitive, but still feel really in keeping with the characters themselves who are separated. It's actually quite a feat of writing, and I think Russell T Davies did a terrific job with the characterizations and the structure of Bad Wolf. I think so far the structure is what's standing out here more than anything.
Rose, in maths, what is 258 minus 158?
100.
Correct, Roderick.
It's great as well to use The Weakest Link because you have the iconography of it, of course, and the music and Anne Robinson, but it's very simple to communicate the format of the show. So it means that anyone who hasn't watched it, it's a quiz show that's really easy to communicate.
No, Torchwood.
Is that's the first reference of Torchwood in the series? They're planning ahead, aren't they?
No, red. Rose.
God, and in hindsight as well, Rose, like, laughing at them getting the questions wrong. Rose is the only one who doesn't know that they could die here.
Is just
Oh my god. I think she knows.
these two aren't named either. They're only called male programmer and female programmer. You've got Joe Stone Fewings and Nisha Nayar. Nisha you'll probably know from the Tracy Beaker TV series, but no, she's had a great career on TV. She's always like great to see pop up in all sorts of things.
And just a tweak of President Schwarzenegger.
I'm not sure about that.
President Schwarzenegger.
Nice and slimming, shows off bum.
Works for me. The eyes, tighten up the jawline. What do you think?
He's groping her.
Let's have a bit cutting edge.
Yeah, that's a great transition to the darker element of the show. Oh.
You know all about that.
It's a really small role, but I think Karen Winchester as Fitch makes a big impact here. And they can't even look, except for Rose, because she doesn't know.
Olivia, you're just sick. I'm not playing.
This is a nice little moment as well, because it means that Rose can say, I'm not playing, but Broth beats her to the punch, and he's the one who's made the example out of. So you still get Rose having that protest, having that moment, but she doesn't suffer the consequences for it, because Broth beats her by like half a second. Nice little sleight of hand there. I wonder how that's explained to audiences watching, because they've gone to an advert break. So presumably they say Broth walked out or something.
Busy getting out.
Yeah, he's got no tolerance for it. And she grabs his hand. Look at that. A bit like Fitch. It's a small role for Crosby. But yeah, because it's so heightened. He doesn't care. The fact that they do it so quickly as well, that she steps out so quickly, tells a story in and of itself. Like, maybe someone was evicted and they didn't leave straight away, so maybe all the other housemates were punished or something, so that's why. Obviously, you've got to move the plot forward, but the fact that they do it so quickly, I think implies a lot. I'd love a novelization of this. You know, maybe have some opening chapters before the Ninth Doctor appears in the Big Brother house. Oh, they even did the little archway. No.
What was that?
Yeah, I do love how the music stops when it happens. Oh no, and then it kicks back in. Okay. Oops, spoke too soon.
I don't think she's been human for years.
I like their interplay, like the clear flirtation at work. Underneath it, it's this really morbid body horror stuff, like the controller. Like the lighting, the music, everything, the contact lenses. Martha Cope really was one hell of a get for this episode. Once again, these really small roles, on the page at least, but they land with such impact despite only having a few lines of dialogue and only a couple of minutes of screen time at like the maximum. I don't know, there's some magic in this episode.
Everyone on Earth is a potential contestant. The Transmat beam picks you out at random.
It's a charnel house. What about the winners? What are...
Yeah, that line, I love that as well, the charnel house, and the fact that it's, like, compulsory. It's almost like a morbid entertainment jury duty type thing.
Damaged property.
What, like this?
Love it. I think this as well, this was filmed on John Barrowman's birthday, so he just spent a day just having fashion shoots and destroying robots and flirting with robots. So, you know, I'm glad John Barrowman had a good time on his birthday. That sentence has implications, I'm sorry. Just a full-blown chainsaw. You've got to wonder, because this is the format of the show, this must have been a really interesting episode, just having somebody plopped into this from Transmat, and then they just have a great time until this happens. But everyone who gets in this version of the show must know that the surgery part is like in the third act of the show. So I'm wondering how they're reacting. I want to see a standard episode of this.
But that's a compact laser deluxe. Where were you hiding that?
You really don't want to know.
The same place as the handcuffs from Boomtown.
Just a reminder, we've got solar flare activity coming up in 10.
Oh, solar flares. We'll park that.
When it comes to the final, I want to be up against you.
Here's the flashback I thought was in Boomtown, and this is where they start like hitting home that something's been happening over the course of the whole season. And I like as well that this was in all of the novels as well, that if you got the BBC Books range with the Ninth Doctor, Rose, and later Captain Jack, that they would have Bad Wolf references in them. I think that's really cool. And that's happened as well with the 15th Doctor's ones, with the 15th Doctor and Ruby Sunday. There'll be different Susan twists. There'll be like a old woman appearing in these random scenes in the story. So that sort of ties in. That's something that I'm really glad has carried on as a tradition.
Mother has no choice but to evict you.
Yay, so happy. Open up. It's a big circular dish. He's so confident in the gamble. Oh, this is great for the ratings.
Stay with me. I promise I'll get you out alive. Come on.
Oh, I've got chills, man. Like, this, I think, is like the defining shot of the Ninth Doctor. And I was so glad when I was able to chat with the episode's director, Joe Ahern, about this particular shot, that basically having a fourth wall break that's not a fourth wall break where they look down the barrel of a camera can be quite unnerving, because it can be quite unnatural to watch because it's not meant to happen. But in this particular moment when he's holding his hand out to the audience effectively, where Linda with a Y is kind of the audience stand-in in this particular story for the Doctor's companion, and it's such a warm and welcoming image as well. Like, that's such a lovely smile, and that's such a great posture. Like, you'd trust this guy to the ends of the earth, and there's a reason why it's the cover of the Steelbook. It's brilliant. It's brilliant. But yeah, when I think of the Ninth Doctor, this is the first shot that comes to mind. This is it. And the fact that he's promised to get her out alive, you just trust this guy. He's the Doctor incarnate. Like, I love him. I love him so much. Of course she takes the hand. And also, I just realised, because I paused it, that we're around the halfway point of the episode. We've been having little asides and little discussions during this reaction series about where we'd place the cliffhanger if this was a classic series episode. I want to know in the comment section, genuinely, I want to know, would you put the cliffhanger here? Or would you put it before the Doctor's about to get disintegrated as it's counting down? Which one? I want to know, because I think there is merit to having the triumphant ending with the, with the tease of Satellite 5, but then again, the cliffhanger for this episode proper is also a triumphant one. So yeah, let me know in the comments. Genuinely, I want to know, because I think I might turn this into a video at some point. I kind of feel like it's a deliberate wardrobe choice to have Linda in clothes like this to almost echo what Rose would wear in like 2005. This kind of seems like a Billie Piper-esque outfit. This is the worst timeline where Linda doesn't become a companion. It kind of feels like this is a potential, like, 9th Doctor series for Big Finish, because the 8th Doctor has got a run at the moment where he's in the Time War with his great-grandson Alex, and also Cass from The Night of the Doctor, which is the person who he tried to save at the beginning of that short, which prompts his regeneration into the War Doctor. Maybe there's a 9th Doctor series where Joe Joyner comes back and, like, it's a pre-Bad Wolf version that the Doctor has to pretend to not know. I don't know. Big Finish, if don't steal my idea.
Not a bad idea, Linda with a Y.
Nah. That'll be a crowded TARDIS, though. 9th Doctor, Rose, Captain Jack, and Linda.
Your lords and masters.
Sack Russell T. Davies.
Can't just let them wander.
They are no one.
Nice little callback to the long game with he is no one, she is no one.
Half the world's too fat, half the world's too thin, and you lot just watch telly.
10,000 channels.
I wonder what this is a commentary on.
Brainless.
Right, that's the end of tactical vote.
Roderick as well is a character with great utility. Of course, he's got a lot of personality in the limited screen time he's got, because Patterson Joseph is absolutely cooking here. But he's also a great character to pair up with Rose, because he's using tactical voting to keep her in. Because how else would somebody who's 198,000 years removed from the time period be able to get to the final of a quiz show unless there was some sort of help or external element involved? And that is Roderick. So he works to keep Rose in the story, but for it's his own advantage. Like I said, these really great storytelling decisions, proper sleight of hand, and I think that's what's making Bad Wolf such a great viewing experience, even though I know this is part one of a two-parter. These little mini arcs, these little mini self-contained set pieces, these characters who won't really play much of a role in the parting of the ways, like Roderick, but they still feel fully cohesive and well utilized in this segment of the story. It's really great storytelling.
Stupid system doesn't make sense.
He threw 2 things at her and she missed one of them.
Oh my god, she's with the android. You gotta get her out of there.
Okay, they play it straight, but I find that funny. Just the idea that Linda knows that this is one of the most dangerous games because of the android. Also, great shot. Oh, great shot here.
Locked answer is Collins. Rose, the oldest in
God, just like the slight head turn.
of what?
Bo, the face of Bo.
And I bet kids were screaming at the screen as well, because they knew the answer. The face of Bo's coming up the lift right now as well. This is tense. I know the outcome, but it's still really tense. God, Billy plays it so well. She's great here. Right in front of him. The light. Oh, he's so good. And Roderick's using the floor manager as a human shield. God, and it's great as well to have that extra companion with Jack, because he has like the violent outburst. He sort of externalizes the grief, whereas the Doctor internalizes it. I'm not trying to say this as a slight on the current era of the show either, or just maybe media more generally recently, but if this was made in 2025, they would only have like maybe 1 scene before establishing that Rose is alive. It's kind of like in, was it Star Wars Episode 9, when everyone thinks that Chewbacca's dead, and then we find out moments later that he's absolutely fine. It kind of underestimates audiences' capacities to be able to like feel uncomfortable for a short amount of time. Like the fact that we don't find out we're at 31 minutes in. It takes 5 minutes for the characters and also the audience to learn that Rose is alive, but if this was made in 2025, it would be like 30 or 40 seconds. And this is Sam Callis. Once again, another pretty small role who just makes such an impact in an incredibly truncated amount of time. Watch him grab Linda's face. Savage. This is great as well. Just the silent treatment going along with the process.
Let's do it.
It's great to have Jack on board here as well, to act as the muscle, sort of like the modern version of Jamie or the modern version of Harry Sullivan, where you have a, still physically capable older actor as the Doctor, but sometimes you do need like the stronger touch, and you have that with Jack here, but also someone who is just fiercely loyal, who just immediately jumps into action because he trusts the Doctor and his initiative that much. Yeah, like, Nine's not incapable. He's the guy who won the Time War, but Jack is just the extra element there to help. Nine's the one holding the gun right now. Oh yeah, that gets him moving. That's a great camera movement. So's that. God. Joe Ahern's cooking.
Don't shoot. Oh, don't be so thick. Like I was ever gonna shoot.
What an alpha male energy moment as well. Throws the gun to him and is like, whatever.
I've got your gun.
Okay, so shoot me. Why can't she answer?
It's like, the Doctor I don't think has ever done that before, but it feels like such a Doctor thing for him to do as well. Like, of course he wasn't going to use it, he wasn't going to fire it, but how could he utilize it strategically? And that's how he overwhelms the situation. Brilliant. Ah, here we go, there's Archive 6. I'm surprised they didn't call it Archive 9. Oh, Rose's jacket. Nice little moment, I forgot about that bit.
That's the same staff who execute hundreds of contestants every
That's
day.
not our
Yeah?
fault, we're just doing our jobs.
And with that sentence, you just lost the right to even talk to me. Now back off.
Oh, God. I was only following orders. Oh, infamous phrase, as the War Doctor said. And here come the solar flares.
I'm here.
Oh, God. Martha Cope in this. And the lighting as well.
Who are they?
But the speakers. My masters, they fear the Doctor.
Oh, I got goosebumps there with that audio cue when she looked down.
There for me, please.
I just want to go home.
It'll only take a second.
I just want to go home.
They get transported across space. Dr. Rose is still alive.
Woo! I'm going to assume that maybe like stars in their eyes, they just get blinded, and ground force, they just do get turned into compost. Maybe the majority of them get transmatted, but some of them probably do die. Oh, and this bit as well, Joe Ahern, the director, has said that this is a deliberate callback to the very first shot of the Daleks back in 1963. The point of view shot when they corner Barbara. and Rose is cornered here through a POV. That's great.
Coordinates 5.6.1.
Kind of like the first time she's been out of that setup since she was 5. Oh, and this shot's great as well. Come on, Winnie, off the desk. Yeah, the reflection, the fact that, yeah, this is the Daleks.
Someone's been playing a long game.
Ah, that's the title of the episode. Ah. It is a nice little commentary, I guess. You could maybe even make a full-blown, like, dedicated story to it of, you know, fascism infiltrating mainstream media to extol these values, to have cultural hegemony over generations and generations, because that's what it requires in order to really hit home these ideas that are so antithetical to human life. That almost feels like a story in its own right, but here it's just sort of like a background detail for it. You can look into it if you want to, but it's not like the main thrust of the text. You can recognise the music as well. Ooh, the Dalek saucer. God, that choir, it's biblical.
Daleks.
Not just that, we have 6 Daleks in one shot. So this is probably one of, if not the best cliffhanger in Doctor Who's entire history. Oh, the way he adjusts his jacket. This is the Doctor who won the Time War.
No.
I love the way they look at him, like he's lost his mind. And he probably has. It means no.
I'm gonna rescue her. I'm gonna save Rose Tyler from the middle of the Dalek fleet. I'm gonna wipe every last stinking Dalek out of the sky.
It's so brilliant and incredibly beautiful in its own weird way that this is not a cliffhanger where the Doctor is on the back foot and Rose has been kidnapped and the Daleks are threatening to kill her. Textually, that's kind of is the cliffhanger, but also it's the fact that the Doctor is so steadfast, is so ready to fight, and promises Rose that everything will be okay, that this actually subverts the cliffhanger standard. This is a cliffhanger for the Daleks. This is not the Doctor, Rose and Jack's cliffhanger. This is their cliffhanger because they've been threatened by the Doctor and they're the ones running scared. The Doctor textually is on the back foot, but because he is the Doctor, he has no weapons, he has no plan, obviously, but because he said he's going to do it, we know he will. And that terrifies the Daleks. It's brilliant. And the music, the direction, the performances, this is just peak. This is the setting of the stage, and this is where Bad Wolf transitions into the parting of the ways.
I'm coming to get you.
And that's the mic drop. And the Daleks are frightened. And there's such a massive army of them. Posing for the camera there. Oh, it's amazing. It's so good. And this Next Time trailer is great as well. Oh, I can't wait to watch this. It's amazing that this Next Time trailer does give away so much, but you don't really realise it until you've watched it. And I remember me and my brother thinking that was Davros when we saw the Next Time trailer. Oh my god. Yeah, this is brilliant. I actually think I underestimated Bad Wolf going in. I was like, yeah, this is a good one, but let's really get to the dessert next week. No, this is really good. Obviously, some elements of it have dated, but it's still abstracted enough. You know, it's not reliant on it being the weakest link. It's not reliant on it being Big Brother. It's just these game shows which can exist on their own, which are foundationally simple enough that you don't need any prerequisite for them. And I think that's what makes it so effective as just a parody of early 2000s TV, but it still is able to handle the tone so deftly because of how our main trio of characters in this story, the Doctor, Rose and Jack, approach it and handle it. And when they realise the severity of the situation, how it pivots. And like I mentioned, these really small roles, whether it be, you know, larger roles like Linda or smaller ones like the controller or the security guard or Roderick, you know, these are really great roles, not just in terms of their character, but also in their utility for the story. It's directed superbly, the music's great, the lighting writing. You know, Ernie Vince and Joe Ahern, Murray Gold, the whole team really cooking here. This was great. I had a great time watching this. And the fact that it's not over, the story's not over yet, we still have one more to go. And I think that from, recollection, my memory at least, we're going to go a few notches up. Superb. Brilliant telly. Yeah, definitively this is a part 1. There is still a bit of setup and heavy lifting to go, but this is just such a great watch in its own right. I was kind of expecting this to have a few cringe elements, going into it. But yeah, this was great. Billy Piper, Christopher Eccleston, John Barrowman, really leading the charge in terms of the cast. The android, brilliant wordplay. Looking forward to that paying off next week. Yeah, it all really came together here. I think I've underestimated Bad Wolf as just how great an episode it is in its own right. It's the structure. I think that the production's brilliant, but don't underestimate Russell's capacity for structure and great character utility. That's the saving grace here, I think. That's the it factor for this particular episode. But yeah, we've got one episode to go, folks, and it's going to be the last one of the Ninth Doctor. I don't think I'm quite ready. Interestingly, though, what I will say, I'll explain more about this next week for the Parting of the Ways reaction, but between the broadcast of Bad Wolf and the Parting of the Ways is my birthday. My birthday is June the 15th. So, yeah, it was a great time to be me at 12, going on 13 years old, 20 years ago. Thank you so much for watching, folks. Be sure to hit the like button, subscribe, comment down below. I want to know your thoughts on where you'd place the cliffhanger for this one and your thoughts more generally. I want to know if you've watched this episode and you're outside of the UK, when you watched it and what you thought of the game show element of it. I want to know how transferable and easily translatable the British game show elements are to an international audience. But anyway, folks, thanks so much for watching. We'll see you next week for the Parting of the Ways. See you next time.